He may change his mind later, but right now he won't.
That's right. All right, we're live. Welcome. What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well.
I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. The Wake Forest Comic Con, August 10th. Woo! You see some of the art, some of the cosplay, some of the books.
Why is this not working?
It is working. I hear it loud and clear.
Yeah.
Cost is $5 a person, unless you're 6 or younger.
Danzier is on. He says, good timing. Welcome.
Or if you know the guy and can convince him to let you get in free. Which has worked for us the, past 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to figure out what to do. But anyway.
Man, this resolution is still terrible.
I look good in this corner picture up here on my computer.
Yeah. So on the streaming thing is fine. It's on YouTube it looks terrible. It's very blurry. Like on my computer it looks great. I don't know what's going on. So weird. So weird. I wonder if there's a... I mean, it's probably my computer being dumb.
You really wouldn't think a figure like this would be top heavy, but man alive, is it ever.
I know, right? Mine likes to jump.
Oh, and...
I've got it so close to the computer right now, I'm afraid that it's just going to fall over and like smack into the computer and change something. Hey, we got somebody else on. Welcome.
Mine's going to fall and smash the keys, and I don't need any more of that because I'm missing the down arrow key and the L key. So.
I'm using OBS. Danzier. So.
I'm using Skype.
Yeah. Anyways, this is probably boring anybody who's watching this.
Technical difficulties 3, the return of the problem.
The return of the problem. I don't know that it's ever not been a problem.
I know, but when we announce it, we've got to give it a title.
Okay, I am just looking at some stuff. Oh, okay.
Have you Captain Marvel?
Okay, well, I can't change it until we're offline. So we'll do it later.
Have you watched Captain Marvel?
Me? No.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know.
Okay, I'm just letting
I read about it.
Yeah, of course you did.
You want me to spoil it for you?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll go watch it eventually. Okay. I think I got it. Okay, there we go. All right.
I'll just say this. I was sad by one of the ways they chose to go with a certain aspect of the story. That's vague enough, right?
Sure.
All right.
For me not to have any idea what you're talking about.
That's right.
Hey, move Beetle to your left, like a centimeter. Boom, perfect. There we go. All right.
Well, now he's teetering on the edge of infinity.
Oh, man. So guys, we were talking about Doomsday Clock before we started. Really, we don't have a plan today. We just wanted to hang out and kind of talk to you guys. Thankfully, several of you are on, which is awesome. I was telling Lewis that I really enjoyed the issue. I thought it was really good. I felt like it was they had so many throwbacks to the appearance of Doomsday, which kind of makes sense since it's Doomsday Clock. But I thought it was really interesting how many Easter eggs they had for that series, and that's one that Lewis gave me. I think it was our first Comic-Con together.
That's
Lewis
right.
was like, buy this. And then he gave me 3 others. He said, here, buy these, read these. It's really good. I was like, okay. And so I got Death of Superman. I've got he had given me or had me buy Death. Lewis, if you haven't been with us in a while, if you're new to the channel, Lewis likes to go and give you books and telling you to buy them. So
At Comic-Con.
if you ever go to a Comic-Con or really anything with him, if you're not careful, he will give you like 100 comic books and be like, oh, this is good, read this. And I'm just like, I don't have all this money that you're supposing I have. So I have to be careful when we go together because we ended up with a whole box together last time.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't plan, like I had like a $20 limit. And I ended up doing like $40 because, well, you know, it's comic books and they were cheap. And Lewis is not innocent in this. He gave me like 40 of them at least. They were 50 cents, so you know it's a pretty awesome deal. But anyways,
so the extra 40 he got were because I was like, dude, these are excellent.
Awesome.
Read them.
So he gave. He had previously given me the Death of Superman. I'd never read it. I sort of knew the story, but I'd never read it, and I'm thankful for it. Now, don't hear me saying I'm ungrateful for Lewis's recommendations because they're always spot on. But you know, and then at that Comic-Con, I read all the leading up to, which I loved. How they led up to it with him fighting the Justice League before they get to Superman. Just showing how bad he is, how great he is and powerful he is by taking on the entire Justice League, minus Superman, before he takes on Superman and kills him. And we had that basic thing, except for even bigger, in Doomsday Clock, where you have the entirety of basically DC going up against this guy, and they couldn't stop him, except for Wonder Woman, which is interesting. So I'm wondering if there's going to be...
I haven't seen that yet, but...
If there's going to be a Wonder Woman versus Manhattan. So, should be interesting. Thank God we only have 3 issues left, because this thing's taking so long. Like, if I had known it was going to be spaced out this way, I wouldn't have gotten them. I would have just waited for the trade. But
that's supposed to be out this fall.
I'm already invested, so too late. They'll probably push it back again.
Yeah, they've already pushed back the next issue by a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
my comic book guy, he was telling me that it was because of the artist who just takes his time, which is why it looks so amazing. That was his theory.
Yeah.
So
could be. A lot has changed too. I mean, because it's been a year and a half since they started it, right? November of 2017. So
yeah,
we're about a year and a half removed from that, and
it's been forever.
I mean, so much stuff has happened in the DC universe that Jeff Johns probably had to change some of what he was writing too.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Which would then make Gary Frank have to go back and rework some of the art he had already worked up.
Yeah. Well, they name dropped Wally West in this issue.
Right.
So I was like, maybe we'll see a Wally versus him. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, it'd be helpful if we had any clue when this was supposed to be taking place, considering it was supposed to be done in a year, and then they would have caught up with current DC at the time, but that flew out the window about 2 months in, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Well, supposedly they had a plan to launch Justice Society during Rebirth, but they pushed it off for the Doomsday Clock, and they haven't released, and Earth 2, I think. They were going to relaunch those with Rebirth, but they pushed it back for this story, so I'm guessing that we're going to get those before too long.
Yeah.
Which would be
Ben just
awesome.
teased Legion of Superheroes a couple months ago. So, and maybe he'll be spearheading that. I don't know how I feel about that.
So we'll see. I'm interested to find out. But yeah, I have hope, a lot more hope for Wally West now with the most recent Heroes in Crisis and him being name dropped in this. So, because we've seen two different killers in the Heroes in Crisis, and so we've seen one issue where Harley Quinn shoots and kills Wally, or hits him with the hammer, and then we have this one, the newest one, where he gets shot by Booster. And so I feel like none of them are actual real. I'd be interested to see what happens. We know that this Wally is a few minutes too late. He's too old to be our Wally West. So I'm really interested to see where they're going with that.
I read one theory online that suggested they're locked in the that whatever it's called that allows them to recreate things.
Right. Kind of like being locked in the holodeck in Star Trek.
Right, something like that, yeah.
So that would be interesting.
Yeah. Hey, did you read the new Detective comic?
I didn't read 999. I read 998 though.
Okay, never mind. I won't.
It's not going to take anything away for me.
Yes, it will.
Okay.
It really will. So
I saw the cover, which has like a mini Batman.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
You'll realize what's going on once you read the new one. I'm not. It's a big spoiler, so I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you say. So that's kind of what I've been reading recently. So I'm
my turn, right?
So far behind. What?
I jokingly said my turn, right?
Yeah.
Mark Waid's Fantastic Four run. This is the last issue of that, and I just really love the cover. So yeah, it's been really good. There are a couple of issues that I want to see if I can find for you as well at a good price, because I got them out of the dollar bin at my comic store, Play for Life Comics, here in Wake Forest. If you guys are in Wake Forest, check out Play for Life. It's right there on South White Street. Brandon's got good deals, and I got, probably half of the run out of his dollar bin. So it was like 3 years worth of comics, and so it was a good deal. And I picked up the newest issue of Fantastic Four while I was there as well. Excuse me. And that wasn't bad. There were just a couple of things that I was like, I don't understand. Like, Doom was trying to make a deal with Reed, but he swore on his father's grave. I would expect him to swear on his mother's grave, but then he betrayed him. So I'm thinking maybe that's why he felt comfortable betraying him. I don't know. But it's Doom though, so you expect him to betray you.
Right.
I would. But anyway, I've just been on a really big Fantastic Four kick as of late. And I blame you, sir. I blame you for showing me that beautiful Jack Kirby cover and having me read the first issue and getting caught up in the hype of all that.
Anytime.
But the Mark Waid stuff, I don't know how I haven't read it before. To be quite honest with you, it's really good.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that. They're available in trade, I think, but they're a little harder to come by. They have like 3 volumes you can get, but those are omnibuses, and so they're really pricey. I'll just say that. So check your local comic store. Tell them Superhero Chat sent you. Then let us know where they can come and watch us. But yeah, totally worth checking out if you're into Fantastic Four and or Mark Waid. So it's exciting enough that I'd say the love that I had for him on Flash was easy to find here. Like, he gets the characters, he gets the concepts, and he does his own thing with them. So it's not a rehash. So yeah.
Yeah. Oops. Cool.
Your fidget spinner hit the floor, didn't it?
No, it's actually a lock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was playing with the lock. It's a long story.
Is it a combination lock or a standard padlock?
No, I'll show you when I get it. Oh, this is the high quality content that y'all are tuning in for.
Thank God you don't pay for it.
Just a big
I can't see it. No, I can't see it.
Oh, wrong camera. Can you see that?
Yeah, okay.
So it's just a big padlock.
Nice.
Interestingly, and I don't know why our viewers would be interested in this at all, but I was getting a storage unit, and they had a free first month if you bought the lock.
Ooh.
So I bought the lock. It's the one in Wake Forest over by Sonic. And
oh, okay, yeah.
And
my brother-in-law used to work there.
Okay.
Strangely enough.
So yeah, now I have a nice little lock.
Sweet.
Anyway, so that's what I was playing.
Take advantage of good deals, like the $1 bin at your local comic store.
Yeah. Well, when you come up,
that's how it fits in.
We have to go through that 50-cent bin over at my new store.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said a 50-cent bin at your new guy's store?
There's a ton of them. He's got
50 cents?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have to talk later about.
He's got a bunch of 50-cent ones and a ton of dollar ones.
Yeah.
So he's got both. Excuse me. There's probably like 20 boxes on one side of the table, and then he's got another side. Probably got another 20. I haven't gone through all of them yet, obviously.
You need my help. That's what it is.
But I found this one, the one that I showed you last time.
Yeah.
So that was pretty awesome. And I found that Justice League series that's after the Death of Superman that I showed you last time.
Did you check to see if he had the last two parts of that story?
I haven't checked again.
Oh, okay.
So, well, hey guys, we just kind of ramble on, but if y'all got any questions or any comic books that y'all are reading that you want us to talk about, feel free to comment. We'd love to hear from you. We're just kind of hanging out tonight. Don't really have too much of a plan. Although Lewis wanted to talk about his favorite Superman villains. No,
I said if we needed a topic, I felt like that would be an easy one for you to come up with conversation pieces about.
Dan's here said, this is honestly one of my favorite YouTube channels. I could listen to you guys talk for hours.
Good, because we talk for hours.
So this is weird, but I actually have no idea what TBH means.
To be honest.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I am not good with texting language. I've never gotten any of it. It took me a while to get a lot of stuff.
It's okay. Yeah, if I didn't type like that, to be honest, it wouldn't have crossed my mind either.
Well, obviously, I know that this has nothing to do with comic books, but I'm very picky about language. I don't like non-complete sentences and ink and bad grammar. So I tend to pick on people for saying things weirdly, even though I say things weirdly all the time. But I don't like when I'm texting. I text the way you should write in a proper sense.
I do the best I can.
Like short. Like, I'll text my dad and he'll be like, K. I'm like, really, Dad? You couldn't say okay? Not even an O. It's just a K? Okay. I spell it out. O-K-Y. I always spell it out because that's the proper spelling of okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Spell that again. Hold on, spell that again.
OKAY.
Oh, I didn't hear the A. I was like, did you just spell OKOKY?
Okay, okie doke. And okie dokie is spelled differently.
OKEY hyphen.
No. OKIE.
No, it's not.
Okie dokie. DOKIE.
KEY, man.
No.
Yes.
That's not how you spell that. Some people I know recently got me into writing lyrics for them, so I've been experimenting with that with my hobby time, even though I wrote a couple songs for myself. That stands here. Cool. Yeah, I did a lot of writing with songs and stuff when I was in college. Something that I've kind of fallen out of, but I used to do it all the time. Sometimes I'll still...
Ask him what kind of music it is.
Well, you can ask him yourself.
I know. I was. What style of music?
You're silly.
I try.
So, I found on this stuff. I know my grammar, but I try to short form when texting, and autocorrect is too time consuming to bother fixing. Fair enough. Autocorrect is the scourge of the earth half the time, and then the other time it's amazing invention.
And my vocabulary, like the words that I choose to use, the little predictor thing just goes crazy and just lets me type it out, and I'm like, what use are you if I have to type this out?
He says it's hard to pinpoint the genre.
Well, I mean, like, is it rap? Is it rock and roll? Like, that's what I mean.
Is it atonal?
Heavy metal, emo.
Atonal, classical.
Yeah, there you go. Dude, I saw this awesome video on atonal music. It's like it's a silly video of this guy.
He says sad techno.
Oh, okay. Nice. But it's some guy dressed up like a cowboy saying, "Give me that old atonal music."
You know that when Stravinsky played his first atonal piece, people got up and left because
really,
yeah.
Wow.
Because he's the they're like, this isn't music that we didn't pay for this awfulness, and
right.
So they got up and stormed out.
Interesting.
Yeah, pretty much right at the beginning too. I forget which piece it was. I don't think it's Rite of Spring because that actually sounds good. Some of his later music.
See, that's what you get when you play the new stuff. We want to hear the classics.
Well, to be fair, atonal is pretty awful. So, anyways, this isn't a music history channel. This is comic book.
But it could be.
It could be. I do know a good bit of music history.
I don't, but I could play along.
There you go. You listen to Stravinsky a lot, Danzier? Is that what you said? I haven't listened to a lot of his stuff. I've heard a little bit of superhero music. There you go. We'll be a superhero music channel, even though I can't play any of it because it's all copyrighted.
Oh, that's true, and you would get another strike or something.
Yeah. Well, I think it was a soft strike, so I didn't really get affected. They just get money off of it. So that awesome Duel of the Roommates. So, but that's okay. I can't make any money off of this channel anyways right now. So I'm doing it for fun.
And for free.
Oh me.
All I know is when I've got a paper to write, I put on some Bach and I go to town.
There you go. I like Bach. He's an encyclopedic composer.
Yeah.
Which makes sense since you're an encyclopedic comic book knowledger. That's the technical term.
That's right. Knowledger. Dude, did you hear Alex Trebek has stage 4 cancer?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Took me a second to remember who Alex Trebek was. And I was like, oh, yeah, right. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. makes me want to actively try to get on Jeopardy before he's not on there anymore.
I'm not smart enough to be on Jeopardy.
I used to do Quiz Bowl in high school.
I think there's been one, like in all the years that I grew up watching Jeopardy, there was one question that I ever got right, and that was something that I just happened to know because it was about gargoyles, what their original use was. I was like, I know this one. Or maybe I'm thinking of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's one of those.
Yeah, well, he was on both, right? So, no, that was Regis Philbin. What am I saying?
Danzera, I haven't heard of any of those guys. I'm guessing they're YouTube channels. But yeah, I've been enjoying a lot of the new comics that I've been reading.
Yeah,
I don't remember a lot of course, the Tomasi, I've been reading that. Mostly I wanted to make sure that I had read it before the 1000 comes up, which is just a couple weeks. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So I'm
right at 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I've got one from Brandon. I got one ordered from my new guy, and then I bought that really awesome Gleason cover.
I really hate that's not more widely available. I'm just too lazy to special order.
Sad. It's sad. It's so good though. It's so good. By the way, guys, if you have not seen the comic bookstores exclusive, I don't remember who it's with.
Newberry Comics.
Yeah, but it's a Gleason cover. It is amazing. It's got the entire Bat family. Well, at least it's got Batman. It's got Batman and the 4 Robins, which is awesome. And it's done by Gleason, which, you know, it's honestly the best cover, in my opinion, for Action Comics 1000.
You mean Detective Comics 1000?
Sorry. Whatever. Actually, I've got the Action Comics from him. Let me grab it. Go. So this is the one he did from the same store. Try to get it where you can see it. For Action Comics 1000, they were selling this for $5 if you bought the Detective Comics 1000. So I love it. I love it. And this just kind of, I feel like this summarizes the entire Tomasi Gleason run. It's just a cool cover. So I'm really
trying to get the picture up.
Oh.
There's a picture of it.
Go to your right a little bit.
All right.
There you go. That's a better shot.
There you
I can't see you, but we can see the camera.
That's okay. I disappeared. You can still see Beetle's eyes. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a really cool cover. I love it. And I ordered it, so I'm going to get that one. It's definitely my favorite.
Hey, plus if you order it, you can get Action Comics number 1000 for $5.
That's right.
Any of the covers that they have available.
Right.
And there you go.
Of course, I got the exclusive one with Gleason because I really like Gleason's artwork.
Yeah, no, he does a great job.
I feel like even though some of his faces I feel like are all the same. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the way he draws faces.
Right.
But I really like. I think he captures like the character, if nothing else. So when you look at his pictures, it's like, oh, you know, that is Superman.
Right.
That is whatever character he's drawing. And I really like that. I really like that.
Hey, since we're talking about Superman, I saw an interview where the girl who plays Captain Marvel, Larson, I think's her last name.
Right, Brie Larson.
She was doing like an Ask Me Anything or whatever. And the question was, can Captain Marvel beat Superman in a fight? What are your thoughts?
Oh, definitely not.
Okay. I agree. She was like, duh. But, I mean, it ignores...
she couldn't beat Wonder Woman in a fight.
Probably not. Especially New 52 with the partial godhood Wonder Woman that we got in the movie and stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to pit them against each other, like, as far as they don't like each other. But I just mean, like, character-wise, Superman's power set is he absorbs solar radiation. Her little power blasts or whatever are solar radiation. So I feel like that would only make him stronger.
Yeah.
He's already... like, her biggest feat of strength is about 10 pegs down from his lower max.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, when he's bench pressing the weight of the earth,
right,
and he's not breaking a sweat, you know, like, you're not going to be able to beat this dude.
I mean, if she had her binary power set when she was going by the code name binary, she might be able to take him because then she'd be in a lot of the same classes as he would, strength and speed wise. But yeah. So I just feel like we had to address that because I saw it and I'm just like, I mean, the only downside would be Superman is enough of a gentleman that, you know, the fight would be interesting. I mean, so
I feel like
anyway,
she'd definitely be the aggressor in the thing.
Yeah.
Now I do feel like Brie Larson captures the essence of Captain Marvel. And
it looks like it's going to be a good movie. So
I think it's going to be a great movie. Unfortunately, I feel like the character hasn't earned that, but I feel like the character is going to be popular without actually deserving to be popular. If that makes sense.
Well, it's because they built it up on the back of the other movies.
Yeah, I mean, she does. If the movie's good, which I've heard it is. Right. Then she'll deserve to be popular for the movie. But the character hasn't earned it in the comic books, in my opinion. It's kind of a dumb character. I saw this picture on Facebook where it had like the picture from Homecoming where Spider-Man's like holding the two sides of the ship together with his webs. Yeah. And it says one side loves Captain Marvel because of the feminist agenda, and then others who hate Captain Marvel because of the feminist agenda. And it's like me holding the two together saying, let's just enjoy this Marvel movie. And I'm like, maybe there's another group of people who hate Captain Marvel because she's a dumb character from the comic books. Just like, why would I care about this character? There's never been anything that she's ever done that has made me be interested. In fact, if you read Civil War II, like, she's awful. She's kind of the villain, and I'm just
that whole story is terrible.
I'm like, and now you're trying to make her the best hero. Like, there are better female characters in Marvel that you could have used.
Right. Well, the problem though is with the first Civil War, right before Iron Man the movie came out, Iron Man was the aggressor in that. Going after Captain America, and somehow they just ignore the fact that he was a bit of a jerk, to the entire MC universe, or I'm sorry, the Marvel universe. And like Spider-Man tripped out on him afterward and webbed him up. It was a great preview of that. I've got that comic somewhere, and I think you actually have that comic. But like, he just kind of goes off and he just unleashes every bit of his webbing, and he webs Iron Man up into this web cocoon. It was great.
Danzier, what did they say about that? About the Captain Marvel movie? I haven't watched a lot of them because I don't want spoilers. But because I will go watch it. it's not something I'm going to rush to see like Avengers, but
right.
It's something that I'll be interested in seeing. I mean,
I'm
it's
gonna
got
go
Samuel
watch
L. Jackson in it, and it's hard to mess up a movie with him in it. So, but
I don't know. There was that one movie with sharks or whatever, and then snakes on a plane.
Snakes on a plane. That's hilarious.
But I don't know that it was intending to be hilarious.
That's irrelevant to my point. Although I'm a big fan of Airplanes, I love that movie. I love that.
Oh,
movie.
Airplane. I'm sorry. I was like, what are you talking about? You're talking about the original spoof movie with Lloyd Bridges, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that movie's great.
That's cool.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
But don't call me Shirley.
Surely you can't be serious. Oh, I am. And don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, I've seen some documentaries about him, how like he was such a serious actor, and that would play perfectly for the comedy that they were doing.
Yes. I didn't know what that was called for the longest time, and then I read X-Men #1 from the 90s, and Beast was behaving that way in that issue, and he was getting on Cyclops' nerves rather, and and finally he's like, I'm doing deadpan humor, and I'm like, okay, now I know what it's called. And that's one of my favorite styles of humor.
Yeah, I like it too. Danzier said they said that Fury had more of a character arc than the main character. Now, you read a review of the movie, right?
I've read reviews and the actual synopsis of the plot. And it's sort of an origin story for both of them. Hers is shrouded in mystery. His is more obvious, but he's not. Think of it kind of like a buddy movie, where there's a little bit of equal shine, but you obviously know who the main star is.
Yeah.
Do
they have Marvel in it at all?
Marvel shows up.
Sweet. That's awesome. The real Marvel, Captain Marvel.
Marvel is in the movie.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah. That's not what I was talking about earlier, though.
No.
But fine. there is something with that, so I don't want to ruin that. But
you're fine.
Just be prepared. Be prepared.
Yeah, you're fine. I have very little expectations for this movie.
Right. Well, then you should enjoy it thoroughly.
Yeah, it's kind of like Solo. Like, my expectations were so low, it was very easy to
Solo, I got it. I heard you. I totally picked up on that.
I didn't do that on purpose. I know that. What are you doing?
These are my kids' Hungry Hippo balls or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And this is my Hungry Hippo.
Is that a hippo? It looks like a frog.
It's a hippo. My wife got it for me for Christmas. We've had this discussion before. Come on.
Did you? I don't remember. It looked like a M&M. I was like, why is he feeding an M&M to a frog? I'm still questioning why you were feeding that to your hippo.
Because I knocked it over, and it was the little these things were rolling to me, and so I had to stop them from rolling. And I'm like, well, may as well be silly about it.
Yeah. Oh, so this is random. I was doing this.
So is this video.
Yeah, fair enough. Touche. I joined a workout group tonight, and they kind of run around the town and do some exercise and stuff, and it was a killer. But they give nicknames to everybody, which is kind of annoying for me. I like my name just fine, but it is what it is. And I'm only half remembering why I started this story, but they Yeah, I've forgotten the main reason I started this. Oh, right.
You wanted to tell us your cool nickname.
So, no, well, I wore this shirt. I was like, okay, maybe I could get like Saint Walker or something.
Right.
That would be awesome. Of course, I actually even mentioned Saint Walker, but I knew that they wouldn't have any idea who that was. Although some of them were Star Wars fans, so I was like, okay. Trying to figure out a way to get my Yoda voice in there.
There you go.
They called me Kenny G. Because I told them I played saxophone. I was like, okay, this is lame, but whatever. I mean, it's better than some of the names I came up with for other people, because some of them are pretty awful.
Yeah.
So at least mine is, a pretty awesome guy, but someone way better at saxophone than I ever was, or ever will be.
But you can play piano too, like him, right?
I can play piano a little bit. Nowhere near. If he plays, he's probably way better than I am.
I feel like he plays.
I have no idea. I know him from saxophone. I don't know him from anything else.
Right.
Well, every time I tell people that I play saxophone, Kenny G's the only one they ever know. I'm like, okay.
Bill Clinton, man.
Huh?
I said Bill Clinton.
Did he play saxophone?
Yeah.
That's funny.
They had him on an episode of The Simpsons or something.
Or
at least mocking him on The Simpsons doing that.
But yeah. But I was wearing this shirt and I was hoping maybe I could get something like Blue Lantern or Saint Walker, but no. Of course, I knew that none of them would know it, so I knew it was a long shot to begin with, but oh well. Worth a shot.
Let's see if they remember they called you Kenny G for the saxophone. Maybe they'll change you to Kenny Loggins.
I don't even know who that is.
He's an 80s singer, man.
Okay.
I don't remember what his
hit song with Kenny G. He's a legend, man. But anyways, that was random. I was really hoping for like Saint Walker or something. That'd be awesome. Anyways, that was very off subject, but yeah.
Oh, he's the guy who did Footloose. Kenny Loggins.
Kevin Bacon.
You're welcome. So eventually, if they call you Kenny Loggins, maybe you can get him to shift it to Footloose, and then we're back in the realm of comic books and comic book movies with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I don't think there's any changing.
And I'm pretty sure Kevin Bacon was in Footloose, so we just accomplished that without even needing to get to comic book movies. So you can send me my no prize in the mail. I'll appreciate it.
That's the wrong company there.
Okay, you need to send me a Baldy then. That was the award they gave out to Superman readers.
No, I mean, you got us to the Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the wrong one. I was looking for DC. I want DC character.
Oh, okay.
A Rocket Raccoon standalone. I don't think that would work, but I think if they did a Rocket and Groot standalone movie with a team up of those two, it would be amazing. Sorry, that's what
I'd be okay if the only movies they made featured Rocket, Groot, and Thor.
Oh, that would be so good. That would be so good.
For the rest of the movies, just have those three doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I do like Chris Pratt. He's great. I feel like he's kind of had a back seat in the last few movies, but
maybe he'll take center stage. Okay, well, since we're talking about Guardians, they're making a new Suicide Squad. And the guy who did Guardians, directed or something, is directing that.
Yeah, interesting.
And they're going to have a bunch of really random characters. And Idris Elba, the guy who played Heimdall in Thor, is reported to potentially replace Will Smith for Deadshot. So,
I bet he would make a great Jon Stewart.
True that. That
would be a great Jon Stewart.
Isn't it interesting how all these former Marvel movie actors are going to DC to do movies now?
Dancer, what do you mean by part 2?
Guardians, I imagine.
Oh, we've already got a Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Well, I can't see what he's saying, so I don't.
Said part 2.
But what did he say before that?
I want a Rocket Raccoon standalone.
Oh, okay. So maybe he's talking about
Suicide Squad. Yeah, they're coming out with a second movie, which I mean, it was expected.
But apparently, Harley is going to be less of a central character.
That's good.
So I'm excited about that.
I mean, I like Harley Quinn as much as the next guy, but I feel like it'd be good to have somebody else be the center.
But one thing that I read that was really exciting is that they'll be trying to ground it in the John Ostrander series from the 80s, which is Amazing Comics. So,
you know what I really think, and if you want to see my full thoughts on Suicide Squad, I made a video about how I think they could fix Suicide Squad. That was a long time ago now.
Yeah, it really was.
We were in Colombia when I did that.
Yeah.
But I feel like they need to fill it with no-name characters.
And it seems like that's the way they're going.
Have a couple characters that we know, and everybody else is a no-name, and then just kill them all. It'd be perfect, or at least kill a lot of them.
Yeah. You have to kill at least 2 or 3 characters,
and not the way they killed off the guys in the movie, because you know who was going to die, pretty much.
Right.
It's the guy.
They were red shirts.
So, but
I'm just sad that they didn't include Count Vertigo. He was a central character in the later issues of that Ostrander run, and I'm just sad they didn't keep him around or have him in the movie.
Well, I think that's how they should do the comic book as well. Fill it with a bunch of no-name guys, and because like every few issues somebody dies.
Yep. So go back and read that series. You'll really appreciate it.
Yeah, Deadshot wore his mask a lot more than I thought he was going to in the movie, which was not much at all. So, but to be fair to them, it's Will Smith, and that's one of the problems with hiring Will Smith is he's not going to wear the mask. Right.
He could have made an amazing Bronze Tiger, which was a character in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Well, and I like, and that's why I like actors who are willing to cover a mask, because if you have to have your face for you to sell a movie, like, how great of an actor are you really? I'm not dissing Will Smith because he's a great actor, but I mean, I feel like when you moved beyond where you don't even need the mask to be a great actor, that's when it becomes great. Like the guy who plays V for Vendetta. He played
Red Skull in the Captain America movie, and then he was also Mr. Smith in
Yep, Mr. Smith.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was Smith or Anderson. I just remember him saying,
because he's the one that says Mr. Anderson.
Yeah,
he's Mr. Smith. But he also did Elrond in Lord of the Rings.
This is true.
So, and The Hobbit, and he was great. He's a great actor.
Yeah,
he's kind of the one that I look to. I'm like, he wore a mask pretty much the whole movie. And
he totally wore a mask in V for Vendetta.
Right, that's what I'm talking about.
And it didn't, but I don't remember him taking it off either.
I think he takes it off at the very end.
See. Huh?
He takes it off at the very end, I think. I don't know if you see his face, but he at least takes it off.
All right, well, it's been years since I've seen that movie, so.
Yeah.
It left me sad.
Some characters just need to have their mask on, and yeah.
I like what they did with Iron Man. It's a nice compromise.
Yeah.
With the heads-up display where...
yeah, that's fair. But you could do that with him and not as much Deadshot.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
So, I mean, you might be able to do something like that. But the mask is so close to his face, unlike Iron Man, it's less believable.
Right. So, but, I mean, like with Deadshot, give us a Deadshot movie if you feel like you need to have him not wearing the mask as much. Because, like, for him, the mask with the little targeting system, or the, what is it called? Scope in it, or whatever, is part of his deal. So, like, part of his psychosis that would lead him to be locked up with all these other people.
But I will say, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say he could easily be locked up in Arkham.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to see Deadshot, that I'd only see Will Smith. But he did a great job in the role. I think the only problem was the mask. We saw his face too much, and it's not Deadshot. So.
Yeah, but... so...
I think the best guy who's done it so far is the guy from the Arrow TV show, because he was excellent. But I did feel like Will Smith did a good job.
I like the guy from the Justice League cartoon show, Michael Rosenbaum.
Yeah.
He was smarmy, and of course, they got the look right because it's a TV show.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah. So, but
I was gonna say, although if you look at Young Justice, when you see the Justice League, it's terrible. I really hate the way they draw the Justice League on that show.
There's some of them that look better. Like I liked Captain Marvel.
The way they do the teenagers, awesome. The way they draw the Justice League, I guess it's because I'm so used to the way that they drew them in the Justice League cartoon, and it's great. They look great. They look kind of weird and not as smooth, if that makes sense. So, and that's because they're throwaway characters in that series. But
apparently, in season 3, they're more of a focal point. But
yeah,
because the team is now part of the Justice League. So, like, Aqualad is now Aquaman.
Oh, really? That's interesting. That's really interesting.
So apparently that happened in the 2 years since the last season ended. I think it's 2 years.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's a great show, though.
Yeah.
It's not the Justice League, but it's really good.
Right.
So,
it ranks very highly, but it ain't number 1.
Yeah, my only complaint is that they should have used Tim instead of Dick.
Tim is on this one now.
Well, he's in season 2. I'm saying in the season 1, it should have been...
Oh, but then they couldn't have used Wally.
Why not? Well, no, they should have used Bart.
Right. I agree. Like, I totally agree. And I'm totally content that they use this new Aqualad character because I think he is awesome.
Yeah. At least he's great in the cartoon.
Yeah.
He wasn't as interesting in the comics.
No. Despite Jeff Johns trying to force him in there. But...
And he was in the bad run of the Teen Titans from Rebirth. It was one of the few titles that I dropped.
Yeah.
Out of Rebirth. This was so dumb.
That ought to tell you something.
It's better now, though. It's much better.
Right.
But, wish you could see Doom Patrol. What do you think about... Well, I guess that's Siri. I think it looks cool.
I like that they got Brendan Fraser in there. I like Brendan Fraser. So I'm going to be honest, like my first encounter with him was Encino Man from back in the day.
I don't know who he is.
You don't know who Encino Man is?
No.
He played in the Mummy movies.
Okay. The main actor?
Yes.
Yeah, he hadn't done a lot. What does he play in this?
Robot Man.
Oh, that's funny.
So I think he can easily do an excellent Robot Man. Matt Boomer, the guy from White Collar, is Negative Man, the guy in the bandages.
Which guy from White Collar?
The thief guy.
Okay. That's interesting.
Timothy Dalton, he was one of the non-Sean Connery James Bonds. He plays the chief.
Okay.
Which I thought was really surprising casting.
Yeah.
My nose itches.
Denzer says he thought it was really... He heard it was really good in Doom Patrol.
Yeah, so I've heard nothing but positive things about it, but it's just too wacky for me, and I can't get over they put Cyborg in there.
It's so weird. DC can't make up their mind about Cyborg.
Yeah.
Is he Titans? Which, yes, he's Titans. Is he Justice League? Is he Doom Patrol? Let's throw him in everything.
Right.
Why isn't Beast Boy like a young Beast Boy in Doom Patrol? That makes sense.
Perfect sense.
It's perfect.
And if he were there with Cyborg, I don't know that I'd have as much problem.
I would love to see a Heroes for Hire spinoff with Cyborg and Beast Boy. That would be awesome.
Heroes for Hire?
Well, I'm using the equivalent from
Oh,
Marvel.
you mean like where they start their own little Heroes for Hire business kind of thing?
The two of them kind of hanging out all the time, so, doing like low-level crime. It would be so fun. That
would be really great.
That would be an excellent show. I would totally watch that.
These two guys could get together and do a show.
That's right. Where's Booster and
I don't know how they haven't done that already in Legends of Tomorrow.
I don't know.
DC, you're killing me. These ideas write themselves.
They had Rip Hunter, but they didn't have Booster Gold. I'm like, come on now.
But I mean, that's your avenue to get to Booster and Beetle and have this just weird, wacky adventure show.
They could kill off White Canary because nobody cares about the character, and they could just have Blue Beetle show up out of nowhere and say, "Oh, I'm Rip's dad. Let's go on a weird adventure."
Right.
He wouldn't say it just like that, but it would be so good.
He might, though. He might.
It would be so funny. Oh, man.
Hey, I'm your dad, and we're going to go do this now.
Yeah, well, Rip Hunter's out of the show now, I think.
Oh, Dad! Right.
Oh, man. So, that would be
But I would absolutely love a 30-minute episode.
But they don't have Blue Beetle.
A 30-minute sitcom-type series with Booster and Beetle, where they, actually do fight crime. Right. They both have enough low-level villains that they could fill an entire 3 or 4 seasons, and you never actually get a named villain, like a big-name villain.
Yeah.
And you could occasionally smatter in some bigger-name villains and just go weird as all get out and make it the best show ever.
It would be good. Oh, man, that would be fun.
DC, please make that, and I'll subscribe to your stupid little streaming service.
It'd be like the superhero version of Psych.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. And I don't even need it to be an hour. Just make it 30 minutes.
Right.
I will subscribe to your service.
It's only like 40 minutes because of commercials, but...
Well, right, yeah. I just mean like a sitcom show like Friends. Takes about 20, 22 minutes.
Yeah. That was the other TV show I was thinking that would be similar to is Friends. 2 guys just kind of always hanging out and doing weird stuff.
It'd be like Joey and Chandler.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Baywatch!
I've been watching through that. I love that show now. My old roommate watched it all the time. Like he watched it like I watch Parks and Rec or Big Bang Theory, and then I watched a couple episodes with him. I just couldn't get into it, and now that once I started from the beginning, I was hooked. So because it just all made sense now. But anyways,
how far along are you?
About halfway.
What episode did you watch most recently?
Man, I don't remember. I'll tell you later. I'll have to look it up.
I was just trying to figure out where you're at, because
I'm near the end of season 5, I think.
Okay. Have you got through the episode where Ross dated this model-looking lady? I want to say she was the girl who played Mystique in the first X-Men movie.
I don't know.
Okay.
He just got divorced the second time.
From
the British lady, Emily.
Yeah. Okay.
I liked Emily. I was sad when they wrote her out. I like her better than what's her name? Rachel.
Anyway, there's going to be so I was just thinking about it earlier because I was like, well, he's watching Friends. I wonder how far along he is. But so that's one of my favorite episodes where he dates the girl who played Mystique in the first X-Men movie, because she's a slob.
Oh, yes. I have seen that one.
Okay. He can't concentrate to enjoy the relationship because he's laying in filth.
Oh, it's too funny. And then he like kills a rat, but but she thought it was her hamster.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
So there's that. The episode where they moved the couch, which you've probably seen the clip of, where Ross is screaming, "Pivot, pivot, pivot!"
Yeah.
That's a good one. You'll really like the one where Ross does something new every day as a New Year's resolution.
Yeah, I saw that one. I'm a good bit ahead of all that.
Okay, never mind then. Because with the leather pants, man, that was too funny.
So did you see that they're doing a Stargirl?
I did, and
I got mixed feelings about it. Like, I love Stargirl. I think she's pretty cool. But I'm like, who asked for this? Like, why are we getting a Stargirl? Like, we haven't even gotten some of these other core characters, but you're throwing Stargirl out there? Like, okay.
Okay, so 2 reasons, I think. One, she fills that teenage demographic, but also the superhero demographic. So they're trying to... it's sort of like with Smallville. There was a lot of romance going on and less Superman. And when I say less Superman, he just wasn't Superman. He was the red, blue blur or whatever. So Stargirl fits that niche. She's young enough that she can grow up on the show.
Right.
And kids can watch her and, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Plus, I feel confident when I say that she's Jeff Johns' creation.
Huh.
This particular Stargirl. And so he's spearhead, like he's pushing it forward. Well,
I'm just looking, we've got other characters like Tim Drake, Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, the only problem with those characters is they're all the time tied up because of Batman.
Oh, poo. Who cares?
I agree. I agree. Because I want a Nightwing movie. I want a good Nightwing movie.
They've been talking about it. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm sure it will eventually, but
I'm saying you get the best of Spider-Man with his quirkiness and all of Batman with his brutishness, and you've got like this perfect melding of the two, and yeah.
But why start? Like, nobody's ever heard of her unless you like are into
Justice Society.
Right, Justice Society. Maybe you watched the 1 or 2 episodes where she shows up in Justice League, which is the only reason I knew about her.
Right.
It's like, this is a weird character that nobody's heard of.
But it's only because she's a female teenager. I'm telling you that.
Well, they could have done Starfire. Starfire's a great character. I mean, they've
already on that Titan show, man.
Yeah, that's not Starfire.
Right, because I think on that show she's like possessing the woman who's...
It's so weird. Why would they do that to Starfire?
So the girl doesn't have to like fix her hair and all that and look like an alien.
Get over it. If you want to be Starfire, be Starfire.
Right.
If you want to be some weird possessed person, be some weird possessed person.
Right.
I don't know if it's actually her fault. It's probably more of a upper management decision, but yeah. There was all that dumb outrage about her being black. I was like, get over it. She's going to be orange. But then she wasn't orange. I was like, why do we have a Starfire that's not orange? Like, come on. That's the problem here.
Right.
And then the hair was awful. Awful. Her real hair looks great. Like, they could have just dyed it red and it would have been perfect. But no, let's put on this ugly wig.
Right, and wasn't it like purple or something?
No, the wig was red. Her really weird outfit was purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dumb.
We won't keep talking about that because we both have very strong feelings and we don't want to alienate our fan base.
Yeah, it's all right. Well, everybody's inclined to their opinion. I don't hate people who like it. I just I don't. For
Right.
very obvious. I don't like it when people mess up the Titans.
This is true.
That's my favorite characters. So when people are messing with them, I'm just like, get out of here. They've also got a Harley Quinn TV show. I'm just like, great.
What?
I love me some Harley Quinn, but I don't like the current Harley Quinn, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I saw an article. I didn't read it yet, but I saw it where it said Harley Quinn is the new DC movie verse Batman, and I'm like,
Nah.
I'm out then. I mean, I loved Aquaman. I really, loved like 98% of Wonder Woman. I'm really excited for Shazam, but if this is the way you're going,
yeah. Well,
I don't like her that much.
I think what they meant was she's the DC Deadpool. She fits a lot of the tropes that he has.
Yeah, and I really wouldn't care with that comparison, but
so, I mean, I like Deadpool and I like Harley Quinn, but too much of them is too much.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like Harley Quinn, for the most part, was a better character when she was beside the Joker as a henchman.
Right.
Or a sidekick.
Right.
But that's just me. That's just me. She's gone a little too crazy, I think. I liked her being a little bit more of a not as wild and crazy as the Joker. And honestly, I don't like some of the current Jokers either. I don't.
Yeah,
mind,
good way to say it, because there's such disparity between the characters.
I don't mind the Joker being dark but he's got to be funny. And the way that he's drawn in Batman right now is ugly.
Yeah. They're going more for creepy than they are maniacal.
Right. So, I mean, he's called the Joker, and if it doesn't make you laugh, like, why are we reading about the Joker? Or watching him?
Yeah.
So,
more dumb jokes, please. They don't even have to be funny. They just have to be funny to him.
Yeah. But, I mean, we say it all the time. Mark Hamill's Joker is the best.
Tis true.
Danzier said old school Harley is the best. Yeah, I like the
Jester costume.
Well, I was gonna say I like what they did in Batman White Knight. They explained that why that Harley is so different now, and they said that there was actually two Harley Quinns. So you have the traditional Harley Quinn, who was won over in Arkham of being a psychologist, and she's the one that we know and love from the old TV show. And then you have a new Harley who took up the mantle and is a psychopath and basically became Harley Quinn, but even crazier. And I thought that was a really interesting take on the character, to have two Harleys. You don't need three Jokers, but it is interesting to have two Harleys. Because there's supposed to be three Jokers running around DC right now, and they've never explained that or given anything.
I don't think the Joker would want there to be more Jokers.
Right. I feel like he'd kill them off pretty quickly.
Yeah, one of them.
He's like, no, I'm the Joker.
Right.
You're not a Joker.
There can only be one.
So, because he wouldn't want other people taking his time, Batman's time, when he's the one that needs to be the center focus. So, Danzier says Harley's always been dualistic, though. I'm not sure what's.
You mean like
she has good mannerisms and etiquette even when she's doing bad things. Well, and the Joker was like that for a long time too. Especially if you're going with Mark Hamill's Joker.
Right.
He was very old-fashioned in the way he did things, but he was also super crazy. very polite about being evil and nasty and despicable. But times have changed. It's a different DC now. So yeah, I think they were meant to be together. I think we need a storyline where they fix their relationship. I think that would be for the best. So, because I haven't read any of the Harley Quinn stuff because it just looked terrible. And
you can find it cheap at Ollie's.
Some characters really need to stay in the shadow of other characters, like Cassandra Cain. She's great in the shadow of other characters,
particularly Oracle.
Right. And you know, so I think some characters are great in the shadow, and some characters are always meant to get out of the shadow, like Dick Grayson. And so, I think Harley Quinn's one of those that really needs to. It's not that she couldn't get out of the shadow every now and then, but she works better as a concept, I think, being in the shadow of the Joker. Because without the Joker, who is she? She's a cheap Joker knockoff. And it's like, why would you want the fake thing when you can have the real thing? Which is the Joker. And so I think she's better with the Joker as a compliment to him rather than trying to pretend to be her. It's like when you watch your favorite TV show and they have a spin-off show, it's usually like, why, if they make it too much like the original, you're just like, why would I watch this? I can watch the original. But if they make it too different, you're like, this isn't even the same show. And that's kind of the same thing. Harley's basically a copy of the Joker. And they're trying to make her a different thing, but she's exactly the same.
Well, there was a show called Birds of Prey in the early 2000s or whatever, and it focused on following the girl who was supposed to be Batman and Catwoman's daughter. And then there was a Black Canary girl who had the canary cry, and then Batgirl who was Oracle. So she basically sent Huntress around like she was Batman because Batman had gone missing or something.
Yeah.
And, Oracle had been shot by Joker, so she was paralyzed. And Harley Quinn was like the main bad guy of the series. But she wasn't like the Joker. She was Harley Quinn, but like on like a Lex Luthor level as far as her. So she wasn't acting crazy. She was being very methodical in her sort of craziness, as it were. So
Denzer says, I wouldn't even say in the shadow, but they can work well as a team. Like Joker is getting beat and she can save him from time to time, being more than a sidekick. Well, I'd say Robin saves Batman all the time, but he's still a sidekick.
Right. I don't think what Jonathan is suggesting, Danzier, is that she be like a wallflower. He's just saying she works better with the Joker than by herself.
Yes, and it's not that she can't have times by herself. I thought the whole Joker being abusive and her running away with Poison Ivy was a great twist to the character. But I feel like as a concept for the character, she's missing part of who she is. It's like Batwoman. She's never gonna be that interesting in a character until she gets rid of the name the Bat. Right. It's like Dick Grayson can never be out of Batman's shadow until he stops being Robin, so he has to be Nightwing. Harley Quinn is basically the female sidekick of Joker. That's what she was created as. And now they're trying to make her more of her own character, but they haven't really changed the character other than making her more insane. And the problem is they've built up the Joker so much that he has to be the ultimate villain of Batman, and now they're trying to make Harley Quinn the ultimate villain, or ultimate villainess, and you're like, well, Batman's already got his ultimate villain, and it's the Joker, but they can't.
Right.
But they're trying to push Harley Quinn as now the ultimate villain, and it just
Or
doesn't
hero,
work.
right?
Or hero, or anti-hero. I'm just like, no, she's a villain, and so it doesn't work because she's the copy of what's already in place, and it's not going to change. You know, the Joker is who he is, and I like Harley Quinn. I really like the character. I feel like there's some characters that are intrinsically by design tied to other characters, and I think that's a great thing. Lois and Clark. You need Superman for Lois Lane to work. It's why the character was created. Lois Lane having her own series, it might be interesting, but it's not going to really sustain it.
Right, if Superman doesn't show up,
right, you're not going to be interested. The reason we like Lois Lane is because she's a great augment to the character of Superman.
Right.
Not that Lois Lane isn't a great character, but she's great because of how she augments to Superman. And similarly, that's how Harley Quinn was made. And it's really difficult to get them out of the shadow of their character. That's kind of what I mean.
And good summary there. That's actually quite astute.
He says, I just think part of the reason they try to put her on her own is because the idea she is nothing without him, whereas they should view it as they're both better with each other. I think has to do with it. I think her changes too forcefully and has more to do with social justice stuff. You're probably right. Although I think they were making her more. She's a fan favorite.
Right.
And fan favorites tend to get their own stuff. The Harley Quinn comic book sells, which is why they have it.
Action
everywhere.
Figures, right?
It's exactly like Deadpool. They have 1,000 Deadpool comics out right now because he sells. That's the only reason. I'm saying that a lot of those stories aren't really good or aren't great. There's no like outstanding Harley Quinn story on her own in a long time because they've kind of run out of ideas.
If the Joker were female and Harley were a male, it probably wouldn't be a problem. But because the Joker is a male and Harley's a female and he's abusive towards her, like the powers that be and society at large don't want that. They want to be able to like the Joker, not to think, wow, he's the scum of the earth.
Right.
And so if he's beating on a woman, it is kind of, I mean, that is one of those ones. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me, wife beaters, pedophiles, rapists, those kind of guys are
despicable.
Really low on
evil,
the
awful
human, like
scum of the earth.
Yeah, I mean that's what I wanted to say, scum of the earth. I mean, I feel like they rate so low on what passes for humanity,
right?
Because their behavior is so animalistic that you want to say, nope, you might not deserve, mercy in this instance.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I think that's the fear. They don't want to promote because people do like the Joker, and it's a fun character in the sense that he's so notable. They just don't want folks to copy that behavior, and so if they separate them and make Harley this independent woman, then they have this other story that girls can follow and emulate or whatever, and then Joker no longer has a punching bag that's a female.
Yeah.
He'll just take it out on his male henchman or whatever, and then of course with Harley, she the talk is that she plays for both teams, so her relationship with Poison Ivy gets some shine, and that gets a particular demographic interested in the books. And so I don't know if they truly care about these issues so much as different ways to market the character and make money. So,
well, I think that's interesting because DC wants a dark Joker, but they don't want him too dark.
Right.
So I think that's really telling. Danziger says it's like the writers are trying hard to send a message that she doesn't need a man, but then they kind of need each other because they are at their strongest. Let me object to that. She's at her strongest when she's with him. Joker's fine by himself.
Yeah.
And that's because of how they created the characters.
He was for what, 60 plus years?
Yeah.
Because she was created for the TV show.
Right. And she's perfect in that show. Perfect.
Right.
But if the Joker shows up by himself in that show, he doesn't need her. You know, he's a standalone villain. And she's a really big henchman in that show. And it works perfectly.
It's sort of like well, you wouldn't know this, but Mercy from the Superman cartoon show. You would have seen her briefly in the Justice League episodes where Lex Luthor is being chased down by the Justice League. In the Amazo episodes, have you seen those?
Sorry, I was reading his comment. It says, I get that point, but they can easily take a lot of abuse. This is to your previous thing.
Yeah.
But they could take a lot of the abuse out of the relationship without ruining anything.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. Like, he can talk down to her and mock her like that, or throw her out there as sort of cannon fodder, like, no, take her, not me, without actually laying his hands on her. And I think that would go a long way to reconciling that relationship and then keeping her. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want her to even be verbally abused, but I just think like that fits with both their characters. She needs him and he tolerates her, and
yeah. I don't know. It's a weird relationship. I thought
ultimately my biggest concern is the way they present her as a hero, and she's not.
Exactly.
So
I don't like that. And it's glorifying this idea that you can kind of do terrible things and still be considered a hero,
or at least go along with someone who's doing really terrible things and not be held accountable for that.
Well, I think that's something that Marvel gets right with the Punisher, because you have this guy who does really awful things in a heroic way sometimes, but then when you compare them to the real heroes, they're like, yeah, no, we're nowhere near you. Get it?
Yeah, we're not
going to have anything to do with you, and we're going to stop you if we can. And if they went that approach with her, I could see it. But unfortunately, they're trying to soften her up, and they do that with a lot of their female villains now, for some reason.
Right. Well, it's because they don't want to degrade women, in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And it's like, I guess, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, DC has a ton of female heroes. They don't need female villains to be heroes as well. Unlike Marvel.
I feel like we have tons of women in human history who were horrible.
Right.
Like Lizzie Borden, she killed her family.
Yeah, that's what we want to talk about on this channel.
No, I mean, but like she axed her family to death, and so it's just like women can be terrible sometimes,
right?
Just like men. Like what's hurt by acknowledging, that we're all a little bit screwed up, whether we're men, women, or whatever your preferred pronoun is. We're all really screwed up.
Yeah.
Like, present that in the comics. I don't think it has to be either or.
Yeah. But anyways, I wish we could have the old Harley back. That'd be great.
I mean, at this point, I would just settle if she went back to the old costume.
Yeah. That'd be nice too.
Because if you're going to present her as your main female character, you know.
I mean, she wasn't too bad in Heroes in Crisis. There were some parts that were pretty funny, and then there were other parts that made no sense.
Yeah.
But anyways, well, it's getting late over here. We should probably wrap it up. Thanks for watching, guys.
Every time. At some point, we're gonna get organized and run a streamlined show. So
there we go. Maybe we can get it that's not blurry on YouTube. Sorry about that, guys. But
hey, it's us. Technical difficulties come with the program.
We appreciate you watching, commenting, liking, subscribing. We appreciate you all tuning in.
Being a part of the fam.
I know we have a great time on here. We hope you all do too. We enjoy hanging out with you tonights like this. Just talking about everything, comics and stuff. So thanks, Danzier, for chatting with us. I know there's somebody else watching. Thanks for watching again. We're probably gonna do this most Mondays, so around the same time ish, Monday nights. So.
If everything starts to work out, we might be able to get it done or started earlier.
That'd be nice. Yeah. But we'll see.
Well, we were on track for that, and then my kids decided we're not going to bed. We know something's up. We don't know what it is, but we're just gonna screw with this with our parents. And
anyways, thanks for watching. Leave us a comment if you want. Like, subscribe, and we will catch you next time.